Hello and welcome to World News on the Papyrus Global TV. I am Christiana Babayo. Before the news, here are the headlines. Guinea jungle leader Doumbouya declared president in landslide victory. Thousands of Somalis rally nationwide against Israel's recognition of Somaliland. US and Ivory Coast sign $487 million health partnership to strengthen disease response. President of Somalia meets Turkish counterpart to discuss sovereignty, security, and cooperation. London James mourns co-founder killed in crash involving Anthony Joshua. UN Security Council remains deeply divided over Israel's recognition of Somaliland. Turkey detains dozens as security forces intensify crackdown on Islamic State network. And now the news info. Guinea's junta leader General Mamadi Doumbouya has been declared the winner of the nation's presidential election with provisional results showing him securing about 86.7% of valid votes cast in the December 28 poll, the first presidential election since a military coup in 2021. Doumbouya's victory was officially announced by the General Directorate of Elections, which said he achieved an absolute majority, eliminating the need for a runoff. The election marks the formal conclusion of the transitional period that began after Doumbouya toppled President Alpha Conde in a coup. The poll was held under a new constitution approved in a September referendum, which removed the ban on military leaders running for office and extended the presidential term from 5 to 7 years. Opposition participation was notably weak, with several major figures barred from running or in exile, and some opposition groups urging voters to boycott the election amid concerns about fairness and political freedom. Despite this, authorities said approximately 80.9% of the registered electorate participated in a vote that officials described as calm and orderly. Mass protests erupted across Somalia as tens of thousands of citizens rallied against Israel's unprecedented recognition of Somaliland as an independent state, a move that Somalia considers a serious violation of its sovereign territory and national unity. Demonstrations were held in multiple cities, including the capital, Mogadishu, where crowds gathered at the National Stadium, and in regions such as Baidoa, Dusamareb, Las Anod, and Buhodo. Protesters waving Somali flags and chanting national unity slogans expressed anger over the recognition, framing it as an assault on Somalia's territorial integrity. Religious leaders and civil society figures participated in rallies, underscoring broad public opposition to the decision and reaffirming support for a unified Somali state. The Somali government has also formally condemned the recognition, warning it could have regional security implications that extend beyond the Horn of Africa and into the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden corridors. Officials at the United Nations and other international platforms have reinforced Somalia's stance that changes to its territorial status should emerge from Somali-led negotiations, not unilateral external decisions. The United States and Ivory Coast have formalized a landmark for $487 million bilateral health agreement aimed at boosting the West African nation's capacity to prevent, detect, and respond to major diseases, including HIV/AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis. The deal signed in Abidjan is part of a broader U.S. strategy to shift global health cooperation towards sustainable partner-led systems while supporting domestic resource mobilization for health priorities. Under the multi-year pact, U.S. support will be integrated into Ivory Coast's national health systems, with funding directed at strengthening disease surveillance, improving epidemic preparedness, and expanding essential health services nationwide. Officials said the agreement represents a strategic shift from traditional aid models towards long-term investment and shared ownership of public health initiatives. Ivorian health authorities welcomed the partnership, noting it will significantly improve health outcomes for vulnerable populations and bolster the state's ability to manage health crises more effectively. U.S. diplomatic representatives emphasized that the collaboration is built on mutual accountability and long-term cooperation, marking one of several bilateral agreements the United States has pursued across Africa to stabilize and strengthen public health sectors. Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud had held high-level talks with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in Turkey, focusing on national sovereignty, regional security, and expanded bilateral cooperation, including support for Somalia's territorial integrity amid recent diplomatic tensions in the Horn of Africa. The discussions held at the Turkish presidential complex followed Israel's controversial recognition of Somaliland, a self-declared breakaway region that Mogadishu regards as part of its sovereign territory, a move widely condemned by Somalia and its allies. Erdogan affirmed Turkey's ongoing support for Somalia's unity and security, underscoring Ankara's role as a key diplomatic and strategic partner in the region. Leaders also reviewed efforts to deepen economic ties, particularly in security cooperation, humanitarian assistance, and broader governance support. Both sides signaled a commitment to strengthening collaboration across multiple sectors, reflecting long standing relations between the two countries. We will now go on a short break, and when we come back, the news will continue. Stay tuned.
The Papyrus Global, we don't just cover events, we create cinematic experiences. From red carpets to birthdays, gala dinners, and your fairy tale weddings, we bring your moments to life with high-tech precision. Our gadgets are smarter, our lenses sharper, and our team simply world-class. Trust the Papyrus Global to tell your story in the boldest, brightest way possible.
Welcome back, and now the news will continue. Two prominent West London gyms temporarily closed and are in mourning following news that Sina Gami, co-founder of Evolve Gym and longtime strength and conditioning coach for British boxing star Anthony Joshua, was killed in a car crash in Nigeria on 29 December 2025. The fatal accident occurred on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway when the vehicle carrying Gami, Joshua and others collided with a stationary truck. Joshua, a dual British-Nigerian citizen, sustained minor injuries and was taken to hospital for observation, but two of his close associates, Gami and trainer Lateef Ayodele, died in the crash. Outside Evolve Gym locations in Colindale and South Ruslip, staff placed tributes and flowers at entrances while signs expressed gratitude to the community and explained the temporary closures as a mark of respect. Gami was widely respected in London's fitness and boxing community for his role in building the gym brand and mentoring athletes, making the news of his death particularly poignant for members and colleagues. The United Nations Security Council (UNSC) has become sharply divided following Israel's recent move to formally recognize Somaliland as an independent state, the first such recognition since the region's 1991 bid for autonomy. An emergency council meeting on 30th December 2025 underscored deep diplomatic rifts over the issue. A majority of council members condemned the recognition, arguing it violates Somalia's territorial integrity and contravenes international law and the UN Charter. Algeria, Sierra Leone, Somalia, and Guyana, the group known as A3 Plus, formally stated that Somaliland lacks the legal authority to enter diplomatic recognition arrangements, calling Israel's decision a direct assault on Somalia's sovereignty. Somalia's permanent representative insisted the move threatens regional stability and amounts to political interference, while several nations cautioned that it could have wider ramifications for peace and security in the Horn of Africa and Red Sea corridors. The United States, while defending Israel's right to conduct diplomatic relations, stressed that its own policy on Somaliland has not changed, and framed the recognition within a broader context of diplomatic practice, drawing controversial comparisons with recognitions of other disputed entities. Turkish authorities have detained scores of suspected Islamic State (IS) groups affiliates as part of a nationwide security offensive aimed at disrupting extremist networks and preventing planned attacks amid the holiday period. The coordinated operations followed a deadly clash between security forces and suspected militants in Yalova province, underscoring Ankara's heightened counter-terrorism posture. Police carried out simultaneous raids across several cities, including Istanbul, Ankara, and Yalova, detaining an estimated 357 individuals suspected of ties to IS during dozens of coordinated actions across 21 provinces. According to authorities, the sweep targeted individuals believed to be connected with recent firefights, as well as suspected plots to carry out attacks around Christmas and New Year celebrations. The intensified campaign followed a confrontation in Yalova that left three police officers and six suspected IS militants dead in an extended gunfight, with additional officers and a night watchman wounded. Turkish security officials described the operations as part of an unwavering national effort to confront terrorism and protect public safety. And that's all we have on World News on the Papyrus Global TV. I am Christiana Babayo. Thanks for joining us.